Okay, this is another episode of Garage Sale Safari, and this one we're going to talk about vintage clothes a bit, as oftentimes you might have a day where you don't find any interesting antiques or collectibles, but there's really cool vintage clothes that are there, and they're quite valuable, and everybody else has missed them. Usually people don't see any value in vintage clothes, older people. In fact, I was at a sale today, and they had some interesting vintage clothes, so I asked if they had any old jeans, and the lady that was running the sale for her wouldn't sell any old jeans because she was going to cut them up to make them into quilts. And actually not even quilts, just blanket covers. And those jeans could have been worth $500 to $1,000 each. She refused to even show them or sell them because she didn't think they have any value. So that's often the case. Often the case in estate sales, they'll throw all the vintage clothes away, even though they're the most valuable things they own. Anyhow, okay, first thing I got at one of the sales today that's an interesting vintage piece, and I have never seen one of these before this morning. Looks to be probably early 60s by the cut. It's got the four pockets with the zippers like this and the chains on the zippers, and it is an old Disneyland one. It was actually made by Disneyland, and it was actually made in USA, which gets rarer still. And so I'm going to guess probably somewhere in the 60s on it. Super rare. Could not find one like it on the internet. And it's really cool material. It would be a cool jacket without being a Disneyland one, just because of the cut and the style. This would be the sort of thing that, like, the guys that do the the car clubs, vintage car clubs, would want, especially the ones with the 50s cars. It's a really cool cut. And oddly enough, as I say, it's Disneyland to boot, which is really unusual. And so anyhow, and that was in the pile of clothes. I had to pay $15 for it, but I figured I'd pick it up for the show and to go with it as to see what it goes for. I can't imagine it going for any less than 45 or 50. But as I say, it's impossible to for me to find another one on the internet. So I have no way of really knowing, other than Disney stuff, which is a whole thing in itself. Disney stuff is super collectible, the older stuff. So anyhow, that's number one. Another thing I got at another sale was 3 of these vintage California Angels jackets. The sports memorabilia, the sports jackets, the vintage ones, especially Starter. This is made by Starter. All 3 are, which is the big brand for this. All 3 of these are, and they were, I think, $20 each, but I should be able to get more close to around $100 each for them. They're all in excellent condition. I mean, this one still seems to have its factory sort of folds to it. And one is a large, one's an extra large, and one's a medium, so they're all good sizes and very cool. And, some of the teams are better than others. If this was a 49ers jacket, and we waited till a couple months till football season, you'd get $250, $300 for it like that. Super Bowl and the playoffs, you might get $400 or $500 for 49ers jacket. So it just depends a bit on the teams too. I don't follow baseball a lot, but I don't think Angels are doing real hot, or are doing real hot, but maybe they are. Anyhow, and that depends a lot on how collectible the shirt is, right? I mean, the shirt or the jacket is right then too. If they're a really hot team, like say the 49ers are right now, they bring a lot more money. And so anyhow, that being said, I got these 3. They were $20 each. It's all they had at the sale, but these were worth picking up. And as I say, there's 3 of them, and they're all Starter. So look for Starter if you can get it. But any of the old vintage pro sports teams, usually you'll get pretty good prices. These are they're made in USA. They're probably from the early 80s, from the cut and style. So they're, pushing 30 years old, and they're really collectible. People like them. The next thing I got today also was a really cool vintage Pendleton jacket. It's probably from like the 60s, would be my guess. It's got the zippers with the little pulls on them. They're all Talon, I believe, on these. Yep, Talon zippers. And it can zip from the top or bottom, which is really cool. And in fact, really cool. You rarely see that. And Pendleton, which is an amazing brand. Plaids are really popular right now, so plaid jacket, Pendleton jacket like this should do really well. It's in excellent condition, and I believe it's a size medium or large, so it's a good size. It looks like a large, really. And really good size, excellent condition, and I really paid $1 for it. And I mean, this piece, if I wait till winter, it'll probably go for like 65, no problem. Even now, should go for like 45 at least. The kids, a lot of different looks would like it, but especially the guys that are doing the vintage car clubs and stuff, this is a really cool jacket for that. And again, as I say, it's the vintage clothes. Today would have been a pretty slow day if I hadn't known about vintage clothes, and I got it for $1. Okay, next, these are really funky. You don't see old sombreros like this very often. I went to one sale, the people were old. You know what I mean? They were like really older, and they had gotten these probably in the 40s or 50s. They're woven out of a material like either straw or palm. I'm going to guess probably palm, and they are a good brand. I think it's Jalisco, no, Calidad. And then it's anyhow, they're really nice pieces, and they're in good condition for the age. I mean, they're not spectacular. This one's missing its little leather sweatband in here. This one is not. It's in. They're the same maker. They're Suprema quality. This one still has its leather sweatband. And you can see they're very decorative. They look great on a wall, something like that. But these are really older ones, so they look even better. And this one and that one were both literally $1 each. Picked them up. I did a little research online. They seem to be going for somewhere around $45 each. So I'm going to figure even if we just get 45, and not as big as these. The ones that have been going for 45 each were 21 or 20 and a half inches wide. And these have got to be a good 24, 25 inches wide, so significantly bigger. And they were, as I say, $1 each. And you know, I'd be really stunned if we don't get at least 45 bucks for the two. So, and they're easy to ship also. Just throw them in a box and ship them now.
Okay, so welcome to Nippy's Tip, and come on, Nippy. And these are Mitchell reels. My Dad bought originally just for fishing, and the reason this is a Nippy's Tip is because he almost forgot to buy the boxes that come with them, and he only really wanted them for fishing. But if we ever wanted to resell them, then these would be $20 more with the boxes, and so we bought them for about $10 each, and otherwise they would have sold for about that, but with the boxes they are selling for about $30 each. And that's why this is a Nippy's Tip.